So, my name's Andy. I was um, a fraternity brother and in the same pledge class as Jamie in college. And, the first thing that came up when I think about Jamie, there's a lot of fun and happy times together, but moments in particular. Um, First was our sophomore year together. We were in the same pledge class, and we were coming up on Christmas break, and we wanted to make the fraternity house look as decorative as possible. So we had this big chapter room. It was probably 25 feet tall by, I don't know, at least 25 feet wide and twice that long. And we needed to fill the space with some Christmas stuff. We were going to make the chapter room in our chapter house, our fraternity house, look as festive as possible. So the first thing that came up was we were going to go get a Christmas tree and fill our chapter room with the biggest Christmas tree we could possibly find that would fit in this pretty big space. So Jamie and I and Ryan Mello, I think, maybe Gabe Sains, decided we're going to go out and chop down a Christmas tree. This is back when Ryan Mello was having sex with women. So we go kind of the outskirts of Tacoma and find what may or may not have been private property, probably was private property, and find this enormous pine tree and chop it down with a saw. And I was driving my Jeep, and Jamie was driving his tiny little white pickup truck, and Jamie volunteered to put this tree that we had chopped down from private property onto his truck and drive it back to the fraternity house. And we somehow hauled that tree up onto the top of his truck, and the truck was about half as long as the tree, and the tree was at least a time and a half as wide as the truck. And we strapped it down to the front of the truck and basically turned his tiny little white pickup truck into a giant mobile bush. He could barely see out the windshield, but the branches of the tree were hanging over the sides, and basically it was just the front of the truck that was the only thing visible that wasn't engulfed in this enormous Christmas tree. And we drove it back to the chapter house, and somewhere in the middle of it, Jamie got pulled over by the police and somehow talked his way out of that situation to make it okay to continue to proceed with this giant bush on wheels proceeding down freeways. It was the middle of the night, so there wasn't any traffic, but it was a sight. So we got back to the fraternity house and hauled this Christmas tree into the chapter room and somehow hoisted it up, and it consumed about half of the room. And it was so much fun. I remember sleeping underneath the Christmas tree like I was a 7-year-old kid waiting for Santa to come down the chimney. And Jamie slept there with me, and it was just, it was great. It was filled with spirit and fun. And that was my general experience and impression of my time with Jamie. I remember he taught me how to do a fish hook, which was like a wrestling move. And the fish hook is when you take your finger and you stick it in someone else's cheek and you pull on the cheek of the person who you're assaulting, basically as hard as you can until they submit. And we used to do it to each other at parties. We'd, the party would start to get rowdy, and we'd sneak up on each other and fish hook each other. And I remember getting on top of him in the stairwell of our fraternity house one time and just fish hooking the hell out of his cheek. And he was down on the ground. His cheek was, like sticking 4 inches out the side of his face. And I was pulling like hell, and he was just laughing. He was screaming and laughing at the same time, and he's such a good sport about it. And I remember, we fish hooked each other a lot. And, my general experience with him was, I loved the guy. He was just always happy, up for a good time, easy to make laugh. And I miss him. I'm sad he's gone. And I've got my old University of Puget Sound shot class here. It evokes a lot of painful memories. Looking at it, it's layered. There's a freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior layer on it. Senior's the largest shot, freshman's the smallest. And I've got a sophomore level shot here because I'm getting old. And this one's for Jamie. And I got a mortar out on the porch that I'm shooting up for him.
Rest easy, brother.